How's that?
There, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, good. How are you?
Well, I just woke up. I know you're thinking, what? But I worked last night, so I'm trying to wake up.
All right, here comes somebody. Here comes Suzanne. Ooh, that's not Suzanne. Here comes Pat. Hello, Suzanne. I always feel like I'm sitting at the cockpit here of a 747 and I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Hello, Pat. Up. Gotta unmute. Who's that? Unmute. Pat. Pat, we can't hear you.
Oh, I just,
Hey, is that who I think it is?
it is.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
yes, I can.
Okay. Yes, it is. It's my girl.
There she goes.
She's camera shy, evidently. We picked her up yesterday. It came up very fast. I did hold back. I didn't normally I would have been typing an email to you, Darcy, but they called me Tuesday and said she was being released. And we went down yesterday and got her because it's an all-day trip for us to go.
Oh,
And we take a ferry and, so she just took she just headed for the hills there, Lori. I had her up next to me and surprised Darcy, but.
yeah, well, she'll come back. How are you handling that?
I'm very, very happy. Because I'm Irish Catholic, I feel guilty about being happy. I did want her to go on and do great things. But I wanted her back so bad. And, she's, when I let her out of the kennel this morning, she did all of her crazy stretching dance that she always did before she went out. And, but it's different because now she's my pet and I don't have to do the
Training.
Well, I really do want to do training, and there's a lovely trainer not too far from here that I think I will work with her. I would like to have her be canine good citizen or something, but we'll see. I just but I also don't feel I have to be supervising her although we are supervising her a lot.
Oh, of course.
I don't think eventually we will be.
I bet she was thrilled to be back.
She is. I'll send you a couple of pictures because I have pictures. She put her head on my foot and it's a long trip for them to come home on the ferry and everything. But
why was she released?
Well, they said she wasn't happy. That she was submissively urinating when the kennel staff was handling her, and she wasn't eating and wasn't accepting treats for training and stuff. So
wow, she was stressed.
She was, which I'm surprised. Maybe I didn't kennel her enough. I thought I did a lot, and I thought she was quite confident going off. But I do think, and I see Suzanne there, but I do think part of it has to do with being a puppy raised by a first-time puppy raiser with COVID. Because we got off to a very, well, you and Lori saved me, because I was at the point of wanting to turn her in, and then, we passed that terrible time, and then it became, true love. Hi, Kate.
I think you're muted, Kate.
I am. How are you, everyone?
There you are. We're good. Well, Pat, I think I'm glad you have her back.
I am glad.
You needed her, just like I needed my first dog back.
Right. I think so.
And I wanted to say something about what Pat just said about it being about first-time raisers. I think that both you and Suzanne did an incredible job for getting your puppies right when the pandemic started, and you didn't have the support of going to puppy classes every week, every other week,
Right.
where you could talk to raisers, hear what they're doing, see how they're modeling behavior. I mean, you guys did the best that you could do. And I think under the circumstances, without a lot of support, I think you both did a wonderful job and put in a lot of effort.
Pat, you put it, I know, Pat, you've put in so much effort with the online classes, how many times a week, and the face-to-face when they opened up, and, you know, I was with you during that, you know, you did a great job.
I think I mean, I did the best job I could.
Yeah.
And she's a great dog. I think all of Wendy's puppies are great puppies.
Yes.
I actually got to see poor Kate. I got to see Lucy when I went down. Lucy was out on a potty break with Jen, the trainer. And so I said hello to her. And of course, she got a little wiggly. And I said, oh my God, this is so unfair, because she knew me, you know, from many classes, you know, towards the end, she knew me from many classes and stuff. So I said to Jen, I said, oh, this is so unfair to her. And so then she took her in, and I went in then and
I noticed, Pat, she was pulling on the leash in that picture.
just because she was coming to me.
I'm surprised you got to have that interaction with her.
I am so excited
Well-
she got that. I broke down when I got that picture.
I bet.
I think the trainer was very uncomfortable, but it just was like, and actually I said to her, can I take a picture? And I'm next, and she said, well, I don't think you should, but I said, oh, it's done. And I put the camera back in my pocket. It's not the greatest picture, but it was her. And
Good for you.
she did give me a very nice greeting because she knew me.
You're a good spy.
Yep. I know.
So Kate, what have you heard about Lucy?
Well, Pat and I and another puppy raiser, we all got the identical report after 1 week, but I just dismissed it because it was only 1 week. The second one, which is after about a month, was better. She was calm, you know, being handled well. She was fine. The negatives are she's foraging, which she did, and I put that in every report going forward since COVID. I think once she got out in the world, she would not pay attention to me, and she just would want to go out and see what's out there. So she was pulling awful, and she continued to do that. But when she's in a familiar environment, she stops. She's distracted by the campus cats, which she wants to play with them. I mean, she's familiar with cats. She loves playing with other animals, so that's a familiarity. And the one shocking thing was she's not comfortable on different surfaces,
Really?
which I'm really surprised because Brinley, my previous dog, was not. So I really tried to introduce all kinds of different surfaces at home, with being bubble wrap, or anytime we went out, I made sure she walked on a manhole cover or anything like that. And Pat and I were in a class previous, and that was one of the things I walked on, is one of those wire crates. So, yeah, so we'll see.
They do.
But-
They certainly do differently when they're in training than what
Yeah.
they do at home.
Yeah.
I'm looking at actually, Susan, it's Wynn's report over here, just so I had a mock-up of what a training report looks like.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll
Thank
send
you.
it to you.
So did they have any behavior marks on Lucy? Those are kind of the negatives in a way.
Just the only behavior mark was just and she's growling at other dogs when she's playing with a toy.
Oh.
Oops, I was surprised about that one.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We'll see.
So you said she was distracted. So no horrible behaviors other than the well, that's not there on surface sensitivity. Did they mark that?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, I see.
So I'll send it
Can I
out.
just tell you all something though? I went to, to release, they said, the trainer said, go around to the side where the kennel is and I'll bring her out. Well, then in the end, I ended up going in. There's 50 dogs on that campus and there was not a peep. You couldn't, I
Wow.
mean, I would have expected,
Yeah.
or at least some, but it was so quiet. It was unbelievable.
Was this the middle of the, or end of the day?
No, noontime, well, noontime, because they're probably a lot of them are napping at that time. They're not waiting for their food. You know, midday, I wouldn't think.
Mhm.
But it was, I couldn't get over how quiet it was.
Mhm. On Lucy, did they have any comment? The comment section is always kind of fun too.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up. I
Personal.
can't find it. The comments is that she was closing drawers and retrieving objects with the get command.
Good.
Yep.
Good, good, good.
Yep. All right, where are we here? Here's Lucy. Lucy Lou.
Lennox, Lori, what do we know?
Hi, everybody. Really quick, Judy says she misses everybody. She's looking forward to the recording, and she did text me for later when you ask about favorite memory. She's going to have me read this thing that hopefully won't make me cry.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, but her report, we were really happy with it. She's doing really, really well. She's transitioned very nicely. All the behaviors were checked for all the like the cradling and the appropriate greetings, that whole first section. So we're happy with that. And then for the behaviors that were negative, we were surprised she didn't have anything checked. We were worried about her licking, because when Judy and I put on sunscreen or lotion, she starts air licking. And then if we get close to her, she'd want to lick, and which we were working on every single day with her. But we were wondering, because her trainer is Troy, we were both joking that, well, maybe he doesn't use lotion or sunscreen. Maybe he doesn't moisturize. So maybe it's not an issue in the kennels. But so we're happy to see that that wasn't checked. And in the comments section, it says, I guess they've gone on a couple outings. She's doing well on that, confident and just reliable when she's out. She's playing nicely with the other dogs, like in rambunctious groups or in mellower groups. I know that there was one girl puppy there that was very, very stressed. She ended up getting released, I think, within 2 weeks. She was very upset, but then they said that she would only play with Lennox in the kennels, or I'm sorry, in the play yard, because Lennox is really gentle with her. So that was the only thing we heard outside of the reports about her, and that made me really happy to hear that she was being a good friend.
What about her allergy issues?
So that's the thing we're worried about. Oh, so in the comments, the other thing was they're working on her sniffing, which is the other thing that we're working on with her all the time. It's not a behavior that they check, so I don't know how important that is. And then nothing about her allergies, and Judy and I are actually worried about it. Probably the next report or the following report, because she was dosed up with Cytopoint just a couple days before we turned her in. And so that wears off in 4 to 6 weeks. So we're thinking that got her through this first 6 weeks. And so now they're probably transitioning her back to an affordable, dog food, maybe back to Eukanuba, and then not sure if they're going to treat her with Cytopoint.
Is she still a potential breeder?
On the report, it said yes, but I know just from hearing from other people that are on Facebook, they were saying that they had decided on the breeders, and I think it was last week. And so they had calls out to people that had potential breeders that were being sent to Santa Rosa to go over their health checks to make sure that they're completely healthy. And then if they pass, they're going to go to breeder caretakers. If not, they're going to come back. And so we didn't get that call. So we're assuming she's not a breeder. And I know the vet had said that, which Judy and I agreed with, that it wouldn't be good if she had allergies to be selected as a breeder to potentially pass that down.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll keep.
And she's so little. We couldn't imagine her little hips holding a bunch of puppies in there.
You ought to see Wendy perform. She does. Well, that's a good report. Hopefully she'll get through this whole, wearing off of the Cytopoint and continue on, because she sounds like she's being a great girl.
Yeah, we were worried about, just initially the first month of the transition and stress and how she would react. So we were happy that she's done well that way. And then I don't know about allergies. I know they have a tendency to get worse, but I also know that she had an allergy, like kind of flare up at about, I want to say 3 months. And then once we changed her food, she was fine until like 2 or 3 months before turn and had a big flare up, and she was calm. You know, all her symptoms were under control turning in. So, you know, maybe with the right food, and they also said with the cooler weather, seasonal allergies tend to die down. So maybe she'll do okay.
But she's back on regular Eukanuba now? Or
Um,
don't know?
I don't
Do
know,
they
but
cater to
I'm-
diets down there?
yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but usually when a dog turns in with a different food, they try to transition them back to something affordable. So we'll see.
Right. Well, okay. Lucia, Suzanne.
Well, I got word this week that she's being released. And yeah, so she was spayed yesterday, and we're gonna be picking her up on Monday to bring her home. So yeah, it's kind of a bit of a roller coaster with the first report. Nothing, you know, super negative. They felt they were working through some things, but she was not happy. I think kenneling in the off times, was pulling, which surprised me because she was quite good at her kenneling at home. And when they called me, they said she just was showing signs of anxiety. Anxiety was kind of the big thing that she was exhibiting. So anyway.
How are you doing?
Oh, well, I mean, my daughters are thrilled that she's coming home. We're all, you know, happy to have her back for sure, but it does feel a little bit disappointing. You know, you feel a little, well, I feel like I failed her in some sense, but, you know, we did the best we could.
Good.
So,
Yes.
but she'll be very happily welcomed home, so.
Well, good. You hadn't had any plan, this doesn't mess up any plans that you might have had for another puppy or raising or any of that? That wasn't in your long range plan, was it? Or was it?
Well, I want to see how this played out. So, you know, it works fine for us to have her back. Our Patches, our 12-year-old mixed breed, well, both of us were really sad for a few days. And even a neighbor came over to visit, and Patches always greets her, you know, to say hello at the gate. He wouldn't even look up. He just laid by the gate, didn't really want to say anything. So he was definitely missing her.
He'll be happy. So what day do you pick up?
Yes,
Monday?
Monday, 10 in the morning. Yeah, and I found out this morning I was a little bit stressed out about the Eukanuba because I can't find any whatsoever, and I have not a crumb left. And then I hear that she's on Purina Pro Plan.
Yeah.
Suzanne, did you
Yeah.
get the email, the blog email that listed substitutions from Canine Companions?
Yeah, well, I was able to find that Purina Pro Plan. So I was able to make it through, you know, all the raising, and I kept kind of staying ahead of the game. It's just, I used every single bit of it up.
Was it the whole large breed or just the regular chicken? I had trouble with, I had to go lamb and rice for Clue last time around.
They said it's the chicken, large breed chicken, I think.
Yep.
That seems to be out. I don't
So
know
I-
what that's going on. Huh.
NER packed up a bag for me of the adult food to take home for Leica. So maybe your region will do something like that for
I'll send
Lucia.
him home with something. Oh, good point.
But of course, I walked off without it and left it behind me. But that's all right, because I had about that much
Oh, no.
left when I turned her in, and I'm going to use that for a few days.
Oh,
I plan to switch to something else. I'm just not sure what I'm gonna switch to.
right. Eukanuba is not the cheapest, but it is a good food. That and Hills and Farina and Royal Canin are the 4 science-based manufacturers.
Yeah,
So really anything they have is good. Just remember to transition or you might
oh,
be,
yes, I did. I actually cooked today. I'm gonna put her on a bland diet for a few days. Just to see, because she's just not really interested in her food.
oh,
So that's one of the reasons I'm changing. She,
right. What day did you get her back, Pat?
just yesterday.
Oh, just yesterday. Okay, so she's still transitioning for sure. Okay. Susan, I'm gonna call on you, Susan Ryan. Any progress with the facility dog placement? She's waiting. She has her application in as of June.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the right match. So I didn't get the call because there's a team training going on starting in another 2 weeks, I think it is, or maybe it's a week now. So I didn't get the call about 4 to 6 weeks ago, so I knew I wasn't on that list. And then the next one would be January 31st to February 11th. So I'm actually, in truth, I don't know if I want to do it anymore.
Why?
It's because work's so hard. It's so discouraging, and I just don't know how much longer I can do it, and it doesn't feel right to take a dog and then, you know, be kind of phasing out my career. But it's also hard to imagine I'm gonna quit working, especially on these terms. I don't want to end my career because of COVID and because of how people act and all of that. And you know, there's a certain thing that comes from a puppy that just makes you feel hope again. So I kind of wonder if I want to just puppy raise, and then in truth, it crossed my mind that that little one I named Merritt, if she becomes a
Margaret.
breeder, then I might say, fine, I'll take her and I'll become a breeder caretaker. So I don't know. I thought for sure I knew what I wanted, and now I don't know. I don't
You
know what's
don't
right.
think that a facility dog might heal you as much as the hospital? It's a pilot program that she had talked about starting.
I mean,
PTSD for medical people.
Yeah, I mean, I still lecture on it, and it would obviously help to have show and tell instead of just be talking about it right now, because I haven't had a dog now since I turned Win in February. So it's really hard. Well, actually, I put down Izzy in March, but it's hard. You know, it's so much part of my day to be training a pup or paying attention to it and focusing activities around it, and so I'm definitely missing the presence, and I just don't know what's right. I don't know that I'm tired. I'm so tired because our work's just exhausting, and I've been doing some nights, and so I don't know what's right. It's hard, but it is hard to think about ending a career on this note. It's like you want to go out on the high when you win the World Series or you win the Super Bowl, not, you know, because you got beaten to the ground.
That's a hard one. Hard one for
Yeah.
sure.
I always
And I
said
just-
if I got one of my dogs released, I would continue with, get it, CGC certified and
Yeah,
go visit hospitals and nursing homes or schools, and just, continue to take what they've learned and share it with others.
right.
Oh, even if you did end your career with a facility dog, you could still, you have a nice, you could continue.
Oh, yeah, I know, like, and I talked to Paige, the CEO, about it, like, what if I don't end up working in, 7-8 years more? And she was like, it doesn't matter, it's okay. Just, you'll continue to do the work, just at a different level. But
spread
I have a
the-
little I was raised Irish Catholic too, so I have that
Oh.
same guilt about, can
Yep.
I take a
Catholic guilt.
perfectly good dog and like maybe somebody else was gonna work longer, and so I just feel a little guilty about doing it, but I don't know. Darcy keeps saying, just have faith, the right thing will happen and you'll know.
That's right. The dogs end up where they're supposed to be.
That's very, very true. Very true.
Yeah, it's funny, like saying I feel guilty because your dog was released and you failed it. And I never thought that ever I only have had the two. So one graduated and one's Windy.
Yeah.
And I did the same things everybody else did. That Wendy was my first. I had no clue what I was doing with her. And, I think it's just who they are, and we do the best we can. And we didn't do anything that screwed them up.
Right.
It just happened, whatever.
I totally agree with that. I was telling both Suzanne and Pat that like Lennox is doing really well, but I had two dogs, my first dog and my third dog, and they didn't even get their first reports because they didn't even make it to their first reports.
That's true.
So I've had dogs that have graduated and dogs, like I said, like one was even released before he even got to matriculation point. So, and I'm the same trainer throughout that whole time. If not, I'm getting better each time. And so you would think
Right.
after one dog passes, then all of them would pass, but it's not. I really think, like you said, it's the
dog.
dog's personality they really choose. We just kind of help them along the way, and then they end up deciding at the end if it's for them or not.
I shared Lucy's last report with my family, and even when I went to turn her in, they're like, she's of the three that I trained, she was the smartest. She got the command. She was the easiest one, and yet these are the worst. It's the worst report of all of them so far. So it's the dog. It's their, and I don't think it has anything to do with us.
Yeah.
There's so much, genetics in the dog and their behavior. And I think it brings out different things in us as we're training them. I certainly noticed a difference in Candy, my first. I put everything I thought into her, and, I thought she was doing pretty good. But Clue was a different dog and so much easier and mellower. And I had a little more experience by then, but.
Well, I used to always find myself, I'd be doing something and I'd say, oh, if I was having another puppy, I would have done this differently. Like I learned so much
Yeah, you do.
raising Leica, but well, actually I'm having surgery next month on my knee, and that's one of the reasons why I wasn't even considering a puppy or anything. It's
You don't need to. You'll have a support.
Yeah.
I have my girl
Now
now.
that they know how to close drawers and retrieve objects.
Yes, I'm golden.
If we just knew how to tell them to do it, they don't tell us what those commands were.
Oh, I got them. My cousins have got a dog. I can help you out, Pat.
Yeah.
Darcy, wouldn't you say that Wendy has a little bit of a personality of, she's a little insecure, and she's looks a lot to us for reassurance, because that's how she was as a baby. She wasn't the most confident pup. She was lovely, but Wynn was totally much more confident.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like that's kind of how she still has a little bit of leaning.
Definitely. She's
Yeah.
kind of needy. For
Yeah.
sure. She did tell us that she could have puppies by herself. She proved that with her first litter. So she wasn't overly needy, but I still see those tendencies in her for sure. By the by, I was looking at when we had our last Zoom, it was on a Friday. Wendy was quite pregnant at that point, and the following Tuesday, 4 days later, she did have 8 puppies, 4 male, 4 female, no stills, which was good. I didn't think one of them was going to come out, but it did for the little work. and they all did great. I turned them in on, let's see, that was the 26th of September. So 3 weeks ago, I turned them in. Yeah, and there's that bittersweet moment of, you know, you've kind of done everything I could, but they're getting too big and too many and too needy. And so it was time for them to go. But a very sterile turn-in again in the parking lot, and took Wendy with me and showed her each one as they went off in the hamper. Well, then that was on a Sunday, and then the following Saturday, 3 of them went by private pilot down to Southwest region, Carlsbad. And I had kind of signed on kind of before it got out to the general volunteers of taking them to the airport. I signed on that I wanted to do that. And so I got to see 3 of them again, and that was pretty cool. And yeah, I think they knew me. Put them on the plane with 2 other puppies from another litter and a breeder that went down back to her former breeder caretaker or puppy raiser. That's the way it was. Talked to that man. He was pretty tore up about it all. And one of those puppies have now come forward puppy raiser wise. So I'm going to have a relationship with at least 2 of the 8, I hope. I'm working on their photo diaries. So we'll see. And she has 3. The one thing that bothered me though on this litter, and so I'm thinking maybe it's not her fault as much as maybe the males, but 5 of the 8 needed teeth pulled, bottom canines. And it was 3 of the 5 of the last litter, but then the first 2 litters were fine. So either CCI is looking harder at teeth, or it's the male, and you know, half the litter, half the genes are being affected. I don't know, but I was afraid that would keep her out of the mix for maybe her next litter, which is due about May next year, her last litter. And I don't know what I'll do after that. I was hoping a daughter would come through, but we'll see. There's still time. Maybe Merritt. Susan Ryan had submitted a name for the last litter, and it went through. Merritt, one of our 4 females, and she was the only one with good teeth. So I think she is the only potential breeder of that 4th litter. So
And she's in Carlsbad, right?
I haven't heard where she is. She was not one of the 3 that.
Oh no, she's Texas. She's in Texas.
Yeah.
Still within reach if they want her. So
Right.
we shall see. It was interesting on just 2 days ago, I was making a one of those no-throw or no-sew quilts for CCI to sell at Dog Paws. And I have very hard floors. And so I was on the floor cutting, and I was wearing the knee pads that my puppy partner, Susie, had given me for the whelp. And because I was on the floor cutting and all that. Wow. When Wendy got near me, she was like, you know, what is this? And she's just lifting up my knee pads. And she was so excited. And I had to break it to her. Yeah, no, they're not back. You know, they're gone. But she works with that. You know, when I brought her home that day after we turned them in, I walked her around the outside pen that we'd had them in, and I walked her around the inside pen that wasn't all cleaned up yet. And she checked it just a couple more times, and then she was like, oh, okay, that's fine.
They're good at living in the present, aren't they?
They
Yeah.
sure are. And
Maybe that's the lesson for us.
They're so lucky.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still wonder if, like, Wynn wonders, where am I? Like, why aren't I going to the hospital? But that's just me. It's not Wynn. She's probably quite content.
You know, if she were to walk into the hospital tomorrow, I think it'd be, oh yeah. But it is
Yeah.
so far back in their brain, that compartment, that they can't access it, I don't think, like we do. So
Well, I
it's
don't think
there,
they
she needs
think
to-
about it, right? They don't like wonder, like, what happened? They
Yeah.
just are like, oh, they're gone.
Yeah.
But, you
I'm-
know, when I saw Wendy and we were in that,
You.
she remembered my smell. Like, she ran to me, but then I remember she jumped towards Emily, and then she sniffed me, and she was like all over me, wiggling.
Well, I was cold mashed potatoes that day when it's like, I don't care about you. She's gone looking. But Lori, I want you to read the letter from Judy
It's a text.
about the favorite memory of Lennox,
Aw.
and then we'll share. We have 4 minutes left.
Okay. As for memories, I love to think about Lennox's greeting every morning. Bill would get up first and take her for her first walk. When I got up, she'd be waiting for me behind her puppy gate in the family room area. Tail would be frantically wagging and her little tongue was out doing as many air kisses as she could possibly do. I would give her some pats and scratches under her chin, then immediately grab her favorite fluffy football and take her into the living room for some throws and retrieves. She was always enthusiastic and ready to play. After a bit, we'd wind everything down and she'd just lie next to me on the floor for some cuddling and belly rubs. I loved the ease with which she would cradle. Best and easiest cradle ever, even falling asleep sometimes during her drummeling. Lennox brought joy and laughter into our home every day. We miss her terribly. That's it. Yeah.
That's sweet.
That is sweet. And I think next month, Judy is coming up to Santa Rosa area to visit somebody. So we're hoping to get together.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah, I'll meet her and Bill and show her the homestead and where everything happens. So that will be fun.
Nice.
Let's see. Let's go Lucy. Favorite memory?
Oh, I have too many for this short amount of time left. I'd have to put that in writing like she did and share it.
Okay.
So many funny memories. She's just a funny girl. We do miss her. We do miss her.
Yeah. Suzanne, what's the one thing that when Lucia's back that you're going to be most happy about?
Well, I think everyone in the family, the way she touches each one of us, my husband loves when she comes out of her kennel every morning and does her huge stretch and waits for us to put her little collar on.
Oh,
And then my youngest, she loves cradling her a lot, and she taught her how for her to touch her toes. Basically, she holds her and says toes, and she'll lift her back toes up. And then the other daughter, she has a window that faces the street, and we open the shutter in the morning with the sun coming through, and she sits there with her chin looking out what's going on in the neighborhood, and just her happy self, her just contented self. So, and her sunbathing.
it'd be nice if someone could video your greeting with her on Monday.
Oh, yeah, you need to get that.
Have somebody, maybe not in your family, but give it to a trainer before she comes out.
It's worth saving. Yeah.
That would be.
Yeah.
Pat, what was the thing that Leica that you said, oh, this is the best when she came back?
Well, it's
been that long, but
it's kind of like what Suzanne said. I laugh to hear that because Leica has this like morning stretch dance that she does when she comes out of the kennel. She goes into the corner by the door and she rubs her face on the rug that's there, and she just has this whole big procedure that she does before she dresses to go out. And I just love to see it today because it made me feel like she was settled and she was home.
It's going to turn off any minute now. So it was so
I just
good.
wanted to show you, this is my boy. This is, I can't see. This is Dozer,
Yeah,
Oh.
handsome.
3 months old,
Oh,
first male. And,
Can I share? Oh, wait.
yeah.
yep, real quick.
Oh, can I share my favorite memory of Lennox?
Yeah, we're gonna cut off, but
Okay,
yes.
if we cut up. But really quick, my favorite thing that I miss so much is if I'm in the pool, and she does this all the time where she comes running full speed and she leaps directly at me and she splashes in the water and then she swims towards me and then she just treads water in front of me and then I get her toy and I throw it for her. I miss
That's
that.
awesome.
That's awesome.
And I miss her when I don't feel well for her just to like come up and put herself in